Folks, we're going to start with Cody. We're going to get 3 or 4 questions up here or until Coach comes, and then we'll switch them out. So we'll open it up here, right here. Get the mic to Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, Cody, you had 10 tackles today. The defense after the first drive really shut them down. What was the key to doing that?
You know, I just think we had to settle in a little bit. Yeah, first drive, they kind of we didn't really get off the field at that time. But, I mean, we just wanted to settle in and knock them back up front and really win first down. And I think we did a good job. And, you know, when we were able to pass rush, you know, a lot of good things happened. So, yeah.
Over to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Cody, it felt like you guys played with a lot of confidence out there, like you guys wanted to make a statement. I guess just what do you feel like all that came from today?
No, I just think it all speaks to our preparation during the week. You know, we know these games are going to be big. We know the crowd's going to be a big factor, but we just want to be able to play with some fun, you know, rally around our teammates and, you know, really just have a good time out there because you don't get these moments a lot. It's top 5 matchup, so we just want to take advantage of it.
Over here to the right, Austin Ward, the podcast.
Cody, when those opportunities to blitz are called and it's going to be your turn, what goes through your mind? It just seems like you're really thriving in those situations right now.
Yeah, what I focus on really just doing my job. You know, we practice those a lot during the week, and I just try to do what they tell me to do, and you know, just rely on my instincts that they give me, and you know, I'm thankful I was in that position, and you know, I'm really just happy that we were able to get those stops.
Over to the left, Jeff Gilbert, Press Pros.
Cody, the blitz packages are just working better this half of the season. Are you guys putting in new stuff, or is the stuff you tried all along maybe just working now better?
That's probably a better question for Coach Knowles. I mean, whatever he puts up in front of us, we just try to do it to the best of our ability, and I trust everything he does. So, you know, whatever he puts in front of us, we're just going to execute or try to execute to the best of our ability, and then just go from there.
And over here to the right, this will be the last question for Cody. Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Cody, are you noticing just the defensive line getting a little bit more push and allowing you to get where you need to be on those?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% thankful for them because, I mean, I got to – for me to make plays, they make plays too. So, you know, they're holding gaps all for me, and you know, I'm thankful we have them up front because they do the dirty work, and you know, I always try to give thanks to the D-line.
Great, Cody. Thank you very much. All right, folks, we're going to bring Jack Sawyer up to the main podium and send Caden Curry to one of the back ones. Open up the questions here for Jack. Okay. You know what we're going to actually do? Jack, I'm going to move you back to one of the tables as well. Sorry about that. So we got Jack, Caden Curry, and Emeka Abuka at the 3 back tables, folks.
Jack played. I didn't get him up here.
Yeah, we'll open it up the floor for Coach Day over here to the right, Austin Ward, the podcast.
Ryan, it seemed like, I don't know, this week that you've kind of had an edge about you. Some of the Pat McAfee comments yesterday got a lot of attention, and it seemed like the team also played with a little bit of an edge that was different today. What's the root of that?
There's probably a lot that goes into it, but that's the way you got to play the game of football. That's the mentality that we have to have, and you know, we know that we want to be playing our best football. We also know it's at stake. You know, you don't win this game, you have no chance to go to Indianapolis and play in the Big Ten championship, and that's real. And we've had that approach here for a few weeks now, or more than that. And I got to say, I thought the crowd was awesome. I thought our guys played with great passion. I thought the two of them just, you know, played off of each other the entire game. I think the fact that they had to go to a silent cadence did make a difference in this game. It certainly did. They tried to clap early. They couldn't. They went to the silent cadence, and that made a huge difference in the game. So, you know, give the fans so much credit. I thought they brought great energy. I thought during Caleb's return, it was one of the loudest I've heard it in a while. And but our guys just played with a chip today, and that's the way you got to play the game of football.
Over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, Ryan, are you heading to Vegas right after this since you guaranteed a punt return for a touchdown and it came to fruition? What did you see there? And was there ever a question of him not returning punts in terms of injury or the risk reward there?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We take everything into consideration. And we made the decision a couple weeks ago that we felt Caleb, really about midway through the season, you know, after the Oregon game, we just felt like Caleb needs to be more involved and make more an impact on games. I think that what's been happening on defense, you know, has kind of shown that that's happened. And then we felt like as as a punt returner, he was dynamic with the ball in his hands. When he was in high school, I saw it live and in color. I felt like he could play running back here at Ohio State. And when you're in the special teams, meetings every day and putting the work in that these guys are putting in, it's a great example to the other players that, you may not see the results, but if you trust the process, good things are going to happen. And now, we've had 3 weeks in a row, we've had a punt block, and then and now a punt return for a touchdown. And those are big plays in matchup games. Those are the things that we got to have. I felt like we made some good personnel changes there. And Brian Hartline deserves a lot of credit. He's the one that heads up the punt return. And he and Rob Keys. I mean, it's everybody. We all coach it. Tim Walton coaches the jammers, which I thought Denzel and Jermaine did a great job on that play. I'm going to go back and watch the film, but there was great effort on that play. And so that's one of those things we got to make sure that we celebrate the efforts on those plays, because those are game-changing plays. And but give Caleb all the credit he deserves. I felt like we had a chance to return it based on what had happened earlier in the game. If the jammers gave us a chance, the punt was a little short, and I said, "Oh man, here we go again," because we've had a lot of short punts. It bounced off the turf, and Caleb's decides he's gonna return it. Made a few guys miss, and then just some great effort on that play to go turn good into great, and again a game-changing play.
Over to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Ryan, the end of the game offensively for you, that was an interesting sequence. Trey goes down at the 1 yard line. You decide to run 2 plays anyways to score. What was that decision all about, and was there anything to that?
Well, at the end of the game, we're in a 4-minute drill, like you saw in the Penn State game. We call that downtime, which means once we get the first down in that moment, we feel like the game's probably over. He scored it free and brought it all the way down to the 1 yard line, and I think maybe it triggered like at the last second. Oh boy, I got to get down here, so we didn't have to put our defense back on the field. Then we decided to at least milk 45 seconds off the clock. We're on the 1 yard line, and we just felt like we wanted to put an exclamation point on the win by go ahead and sneaking it in.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, there's a lot of talk about Indiana being the most explosive passing offense you've played since that Oregon game. What can you say about the game plan Jim put together, or just what the defense did that seemed to rattle Curtis Rourke all day?
Yeah, I felt like the plan going in was excellent, but and I thought the defensive staff did a great job with it. I felt like Jim had a great plan. I thought Tim and Matt both did an excellent job all week. I thought Larry's guys played with their hair on fire. I thought James did a nice job. So I think everybody on the defensive side deserves credit. But like we talked about this week, this game is played by players, not coaches. It's about players, and our players played hard today. And I felt like the defensive line won the line of scrimmage. I felt like we got after their offensive line in terms of getting into the backfield. I thought our guys in the secondary covered well, because we knew they were going to take shots down the field. We still have too many of these pass interference calls that we got to get cleaned up. That's just the truth. But and I thought the linebackers, at least it looked like on film, were timing up the blitzes really well and getting into the backfield.
Over to the right, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Right, I know you want to celebrate a win like this as much as possible, second top 5 win of the season, but now comes the game that a lot of the people on this roster came back for, including some guys in this room. How do you quickly make that turnaround and get ready for the Michigan game next week?
Yeah, well, it's just that. We know we need to at least celebrate and enjoy the win, but it's not going to be a late night. We all need to get to bed. We need to get our rest. We need to enjoy it. You can't just have a top 5 win like this and just move on. The minute it hit 000 on that clock, it was on to the team up north, on to the rivalry game. We know what's coming, and how important this week is for everybody in the state of Ohio and Buckeye Nation, and most importantly our team and our obligation to play really well next week and win that game. But we also need to make sure we take a deep breath and recognize the things that happened today. We'll do that tomorrow during our champions meeting, celebrate the guys who played really well, and then move on, because it's easy just to move on, but there's a lot of work that gets put into a win like this, and it's a top 5 win. So we'll get some good rest tonight, make sure we get to bed early, and then we'll wake up tomorrow and make sure we get back to work.
Folks, we're going to do 2 more questions with Coach Day, and then we're going to bring Caleb up for a handful of questions, and then Will. And I do want to share that Will completed 80% of his passes for the 6th time this season. That's a single season and a career record. No other Ohio State quarterback's ever done it. Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Yeah, on that subject, Ryan, Will start, I think he was 14 of 14 and was really seeming to spin it. What are you seeing from him in his preparation that makes him get off to these starts? Whether it's, early in the season 10 for 10, I think he's had 3 or 4 of those, and then today 14 of 14. What do you see from that makes him so good early?
I think Buckeye Nation has now seen after 11 games, this guy is a winner. He's tough. He cares about his teammates. He's a leader. There was a tough spot this week when we lost Seth in practice, and he, along with the offensive line, Donnie and Josh, really just raised the spirits of everybody. And that's hard to do when you lose somebody who makes such an impact like Seth. But he's got great resilience, great toughness. He's the heart and soul of our team. But there's more to it than just Will. We look at the way Travion ran today. I thought Travion played his tail off today. How hard he ran, how physical he ran. I thought Quinshawn had some good runs. But Carson Hinsman stepping up and playing center, and Austin. So. There's a lot of things that we need to celebrate, and after a game like this, and you feel like you want to make sure you're recognizing those guys. But like somebody said, it's going to be on in the next game quickly, and we got to learn from it, keep growing, because there is some things coming out of this game that I wasn't very happy with. Especially the way we're down in the red zone, don't get in early on. We have a turnover there in the red zone. That could have been a whole different score at halftime. And that was not good, but. We were resilient. The crowd just kept swinging. It was awesome. You could just feel the crowd was like, there's no way this thing's going to go any other way. And that's kind of how it all played out.
Final question for Coach Dave. Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
You just kind of talked about it a little bit, but a major storyline was the offensive line coming into this game. How do you think it held up? Run game was spotty, but no sacks, against Will.
Yeah, well, when you look at the number of plays, they were huddling, we were huddling. We ended up with 55 plays on a short field. So, the numbers aren't going to be as gaudy as maybe like we've talked about in the past when you're talking about 55 plays. That's 30 less plays than we used to get. So the numbers won't look that way. So I'll go off of what I saw on the field. I felt like guys were getting after it. I felt like, some of the plays that guys were just straining. And this style of defense, there is people moving every play and shifting and changing the fronts, and there were times where there were free guys in a hole, and I thought our running backs, ran downhill. But the game plan was that, if there might be a couple free guys, near the line of scrimmage, but we were going to come off the ball and not play hesitant trying to figure all that out. I think they played hard, and I thought they protected well when Will was in pass protection.
Coach, thank you very much.
All right, guys, thanks.
Hey, folks, if we can start to finish up with Emeka in the back, we're going to bring Caleb Downs up to the front now. Over to the left. Yep, right there, please, Caleb. Over to the left, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Caleb, on your punt return, when the ball's bouncing, is there any doubt in your mind that you're going to pick it up? Can you just kind of walk us through that whole moment?
No, there was no doubt that I was going to field it. There was space there, and everybody did a really good job blocking on punt return unit. And we talked about it all week that we had a real opportunity to do it this week. And just a true blessing from God to really be able to put it in the end zone.
Over here to the right, Tim May, Letterman Row.
Caleb, you've always been really good with the ball in your hands. You can Google that, right? But the bottom line is, what was it like to get out there in the open field and do something like that? Ryan Day's been hinting about that for a while now, about you, and then the C.J. Hicks block near the end of that.
It felt like it was normal. It felt like it was the right thing for me to have the ball in my hands, to be in the field of play. And then, as I said, they did a really good job blocking. CJ told me that he put somebody on the ground at the end of the play, so I got to go back and look at that.
What do you think flipped the game today? What was that moment that flipped this game from your vantage point?
Really, I think it's just a collective of the whole game. I would say at the beginning of the game we were a little shaky, but I would say after we went up by 7, it was really just, all right, we got out of halftime. It was like, okay, we got to do our jobs, and then we got to do our jobs, and we're going to dominate.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Caleb, in what way can you put into words the run this defense has been on the last 4 or 5 games?
I would just say process-oriented, just truly trying to get prepared every week, trying to get ourselves in the best position and the best mindset to play and really go into the game like they're not going to score. We're dominating the whole game. And at the end of the game, we let up a few plays that we really should not have. So we can't do that again, and we got to finish and play full 60 minutes. But really just go into the game like we're dominating and nobody's gonna move the ball, score the ball on us, and that's what we're going to do.
And final question for Caleb. Lori Schmidt to the left, the Columbus Dispatch.
Caleb, Mecca said someone had called your TD, that they said that here it's coming, it's going to go to the house. Do you recall who that was?
I just see it on my phone. Tegan Jr. said it on TV earlier today, and that was the craziest thing because he told me probably like 3-4 weeks ago. He was like, "You get back there, you're going to score." I was like, okay. And then he did that. And then Will said on the sideline that he said it before the play happened. So I commend him for that too.
Great. Caleb, thank you very much.
Appreciate y'all. God bless.
Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate you. Appreciate that. All right, we'll open up the floor. Questions for Will Howard over here to the right. Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Will, Jerry just told us that you completed 80% of your passes for the 6th time this year. First person who's ever done that in program history, whether in a season or career. What does that mean to you, and what kind of rhythm do you think you're in right now?
That's cool, man, but it really doesn't mean that much to me as long as we're winning games, man. That's really all that matters to me. Like I said, completion percentage, and if it's a good completion percentage, it means I'm making good decisions with the football and keeping us on track. So as long as we're winning games, I'm not really worried about stats.
You have something to say after this game. You seem like you were really fired up. This meant a lot to you. Any thoughts on that?
No, man. I just, I'm just proud of this team, man. I'm proud of this university. I'm proud of Buckeye Nation for showing up and being loud and making an impact on the game. Having them go on the silent count, that really makes a difference. It really does. And truly, that was the loudest I've ever heard Ohio Stadium. That was the loudest I've ever heard it in there. It was turned up, man. After that, I don't think I've ever gone crazier on a sideline than I did after Caleb's punt return. I think that was really what sealed the game for us right there. Like, that just put him out of it. Got a lot of respect for what they do and what Coach Signetti has done over there. They've had a heck of a turnaround, man. But, you got to remember you're coming in to play the Buckeyes, man. It's a little different.
Over to the left, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Will, what do you remember telling Caleb before he went back there for that touchdown? And I guess what made you so bullish on him taking it back? I
didn't say anything to him. I forget who was next to me, but I go, Two's taking this 74 yards at the crib right here. Watch this. And, you guys saw what he did. So he's a special player, man. He might be one of the best football players I've been around, just period. He's just so instinctual, so smart. And, you see what he does with the ball in his hands, and he's a defensive player. So, you can watch the film, turn it on. He's a heck of a player. All right, Mac.
Over to the right, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Well, I know you want to enjoy a win like this, but now you're going to turn around and play a game that a lot of your teammates came back to play in. Just talk about your anticipation, excitement to play against Michigan next week.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm like I said, I'm stoked. I'm fired up. This one's for those guys that came back. This one's for Buckeye Nation. We've been. I feel it, man. I can just feel it. There's been that hurt the last 3 years. This rivalry game. It's the first thing that I heard when I came here on my visit. Beat the team up north, and it's the first goal we have every single year. Beat the team up north, and you could say anything about records, man. That's going to be a hard game every single year. They're going to bring it. We're going to bring it. And I want to do this, man, for Coach Day. I want to do this for the guys that came back, for Emeka, for Trey, for JT, for Jack, for all those guys that came back, Tyleek, Ty, I could go on. But I want this for them so bad because they've been here. I've seen it from a distance, and, I feel it, and I'm a part of it now, and I want this for me too, but I want this for those guys. I want it for Coach Day. Shut up the haters and be able to go out there and say, man, this is the Ohio State Buckeyes, and this rivalry game means everything, man. We talk about it all the time. It's all over the place in our building, and I'm just honored to be able to be a part of it, and I won't take it lightly. And this is the biggest game of our season, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
Over to the left, Jeff Gilbert, Press Pros.
Well, what was your role? What kind of leadership role did you take in helping this offensive line get ready this week? And then secondly, how well did Carson play?
I'm so proud of those guys, man. For him and Austin to step into new roles. Austin was playing right guard early in the season. Now he's playing left guard. for those guys to be able to step in like they did, I was just so proud of them. And really, all week, I just told those guys, I was like, dude, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about you guys. You guys have played a ton of football. Carson started 12 games last year, and he's a good football player. I wasn't worried about it at all. I just hurt for Seth, That was the biggest thing on my heart, was that I just hurt for my brother who just lost the rest of his season. And I told those guys, man, like, I'm not worried about, you can say whatever you want about who we throw in there. I don't care. Like, it's next man up mentality. It's competitive excellence. I'm so proud of those guys for how they stepped up, and I think they did a heck of a job today.
Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Will, it with the exception of those 2 dead ends in the red zone, in the first half, do you feel it's almost like as close as y'all have come to a full game? Against decent competition this season. I'm talking about offense, defense, special teams. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think the defense played a heck of a game. For me, offensively, having 2 stall outs in the red zone, 2 turnovers in the red zone, that can't happen. The score really should have been 10 points more. And that's how I look at it. 'Cause I'm never going to come out of a game like fully satisfied. That's just not who I am. Like, I just don't operate that way. But I'm proud of this team, man. Like, we put together a really good performance on all 3 phases. I think the defense did a heck of a job. After that first drive, I don't think they barely moved the ball, 20 yards. Like, they couldn't do anything. And, the special teams making the 2 plays that they did changes the game, man. And offensively, I think we did what we had to do. Obviously got to go watch the film, clean some things up. But no, I'm proud of this team, man, and we're picking up momentum at the right time.
Rob Aller, over to the left, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, it seemed like the most complete game. Is the way you played today, not you, but the team, with attitude, with execution, is that good enough to win next week and to win it all?
I don't want to say yes or no on that, because we're going to need to turn it up. And I still don't think you've seen our best. That's the mindset that this team has. And, when you go into that locker room and you look in the eyes of every single guy, you see it, man. You see that edge. And I've never been on a team that, the last time I saw this edge in people's eyes was when we won the Big 12. Like that I see that, man. I see that, and I know that we have more in the tank, and we're fired up. We're going to enjoy this one, but we're fired up, man. We got 2 big weeks coming up here. Go take care of business next week. The week after that, like, we're not worried about that, man. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we got to go out there, and this week's the biggest game of the year. Beat the team up north, man. That's what we say from the moment I got here. You don't wear blue, just beat the team up north.
Over here to the right, Noah Weiskopf, the Lantern.
Well, Caleb was 9 years old the last time an Ohio State player returned a punt for a touchdown. How big of an impact just to see overall?
He's an unbelievable player, man. I said it earlier. He's one of the best football players I've been around ever. Like, all-around football players. Like, he's special, man. He's a difference maker. He's smart. He's instinctual. He's great with the ball in his hand. You could probably put him at running back, and I think he'd do pretty damn well too. He's just a hell of a football player, and I can't emphasize how happy I am that he's on my team.
We got just time for a couple more. Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Will, what'd you see on that 3rd and 35? It seemed like the pocket collapsed and you had to kind of make a play. Just what did you see from that? And then also the 4th and 10 or 4th and 11.
The 3rd and 35, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, I don't have many answers for that. Like, you just kind of have to make a play. And Carnell did a great job on the scramble drill, restarting. We had a concept that we, is like our 3rd and long concept, and but 35 yards is damn hard to get. But the fact that we were able to get 25, put us in a situation to go for it on 4th down, and then get that 4th down, that was huge, man. That, I think that really set the tone for the game and said, like, oh, okay, we're here to play, And I don't really have any answers on how that happened. It's just players making plays and guys getting open for me down the field, and shout out to Carnell for that. He did a heck of a job on that drive.
Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Well, obviously, Michigan's had a tough year for them. I think I know the answer to this, but their record means nothing, right? They could. How irrelevant is the record when it comes to this rivalry in your guys' eyes?
Absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. This game is as big as they come, man. It's the Michigan-Ohio State game. I'm sorry I just said that, but it's a team up north Ohio State game. It's it's everything. It doesn't matter what their record is. I couldn't care less. It means everything. And I'm just so excited to go out there and to do this for my brothers, for Coach Day, for everyone out there in Buckeye Nation that's been hurting. I can't wait, man.
And final question, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Well, on that final drive there, just kind of what drove you guys to want to kind of put an exclamation point in that, and what was going through your mind when Trey slid down at the 1?
Hey, I said, you're a better man than me, dude. I don't know if I would have got that far down the field. I don't know if I would have slid down at the 1, but hey, man, he's being a smart football player, and we wanted to put an exclamation point on that thing, and kind of remind him, what the Buckeyes are about, man, and you get what you accept, or you accept what you ask for, and I think. I got a ton of respect for those guys. Like, that was not in any way disrespectful. Like, we were just trying to put an exclamation point on the game, and it was just, we're on the 1 yard line. Let's go score.
Will, congratulations on the win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Go Bucks.